Welcome to Club Reddit, where membership costs nothing more than mashing that subscribe button. Sit back and relax, and we will start things off with cheaters never win. So my ex and I had just moved into a new apartment a month prior to this crap storm in our college town after being together for 2 years. We agreed that only I would sign the lease and we would not let the landlord know she lived there, as it had a one-person occupancy, and that she would be my girlfriend who visits a lot. So fast forward a month, I have to go out of state for a funeral. I come back and she is acting aloof and didn't want to have sex. I find a condom in the bathroom garbage and ask her to explain. She makes up some excuse about how she had friends stay over. Didn't think twice, it's college. Was talking to a neighbor the next day and he told me he saw my girl go up alone with one of his friends to our apartment during his party. I confronted her about it, and she started crying. She says she went over to have a drink and say hello to everyone, and some guy offered to make her a margarita. She accepted and doesn't remember much after that except waking up alone next door in our bed naked and confused and must have been roofied. She was afraid to call the police because she didn't want to see him again, afraid to tell me the truth because I wouldn't believe her, and wouldn't go to the police now because it's been too long to prove with a rape kit or some bullcrap. If she was truly raped, she wouldn't have lied about it. She was obviously upset she got caught. Not only is she a cheater, she's a lying rape-accusing cheater. The worst kind. Time for revenge. I called the landlord and got permission to have the locks changed on her lying cheating tale, saying my crazy ex had my spare key and was stalking me. I left her dog's food and toys and her car keys, because it's not the dog's fault, out on the porch while she was walking her and changed the locks. Cue a lot of knocking with a, "Please don't do this to me," and she was begging for me back and to believe her. By which she moved into her car because none of her friends could have dogs in their apartments. She didn't go to class because she couldn't leave the dog alone in her car all day. Rather than, I don't know, bring the freaking thing to a shelter, she screwed up her grades for the semester and withdrew. She broke into the apartment a few weeks later after I ignored her calls for a week to get her social security card and bank statements and stole my space heater to keep warm in her car. Since the lease was never in her name, I called the cops and had her arrested for breaking and entering, trespassing, robbery. I got my space heater back when they recovered it from her car, and she lost her job at a skate shop, where she always brought the dog to work with her, because stealing. Last I heard from a friend who saw her, she got carbon monoxide poisoning trying to run the car in a garage in the winter to keep warm, stupid, and she isn't all there anymore. She's still living in the car with the dog and is doing drugs and has self-inflicted cuts all over herself. Maybe I went a little overboard, but I hope she learned a lesson never to cheat again. All I really did was kick her out and call the police. Karma is in charge and took care of the rest. Now I have a new girl who would never cheat on me, and I couldn't be happier. Hope you enjoyed that one. Up next we have, Cheat on Me. I'll get my revenge. Little backstory. I was married when I was 18, she was 16, yeah, I knocked her up, but we had been together for over a year. Neither parents were upset, it was actually her second time being pregnant, she had a son when she was 15. We got married and ended up having 3 more kids together over the next 10 years. This is where it all started going downhill. After the last kid, she decided to have her tubes tied, I was on board and all was good. About 6 months after my son was born, the company I was working for took off, and I was put in charge of the paint department, prefab steel buildings. I started working about 80 hours a week trying to get everything up and running. Took about 4 months of this and my hours dropped back to normal, around 50 hours. During this 4 months I was away, my marriage started falling apart. I was hit with the, "You are never home anymore," while she had her hand out for the paycheck, of course. Started hearing rumors about her and one of her co-workers. It wasn't the first time she had cheated on me, so it didn't surprise me at all. I didn't tell her my hours went back to normal, and I showed up in home early to find her and this dude naked on my couch. I freaked out, he went through the front window butt naked. She grabbed a knife and in a scuffle I got stabbed in the arm. Neighbors seen this naked dude fly through the window, hop in his car and speed away, so they called the cops. I'm standing there bleeding like a pig. And I get arrested for domestic violence. I never touched her, by the way. I get down to the police station after they wrap up my arm with a kit they had and book me in. They take my statement and look confused. Fast forward about an hour and they release me and all charges dropped, thank God. We ended up getting divorced. All in all, it was amicable with good visitation and everything was good. Found out exactly 3 days after the divorce, she married the guy she was cheating with. I was still mad, and it dawned on me how to get revenge. Fast forward about 6 months. She had stopped by my apartment one afternoon to talk. Yep, it was time. I used every nicety I could find, played the game. Got her in bed. Had every kind of nasty sex I could think of. After, we were laying in bed and she was telling me how bad the marriage was and she wanted to come back to me. Blah blah blah. I turned over, looked her straight in the eye. Nah, I got what I wanted, now go home to your husband. What she didn't realize is during the encounter, I had grabbed her phone and dialed her husband and just let it set on the dresser so he could hear everything. She got up, got dressed and grabbed her phone, looked at the screen and went white. I just smiled as she ran out of the house. The guy did divorce her over it. Revenge is sweet. All my kids are grown and out of the house now, and I'm remarried to a wonderful woman who I love with all my heart. I hear the ex and her ex-husband are back together again and got remarried about a year ago. Too bad, I love my wife, I'd get revenge again. Please hit that like button and drop a comment below telling us what you thought about today's video.